Welcome back, my lovely friends. This is video 3 here at Manor Park Classics for our sale on Saturday the 22nd of April. If you're clever and you subscribed and you're getting your notifications, you're watching this before the auction, which means everything you can see you can buy. If you're watching this later down the line in months to come like an old Top Gear repeat, look at what you could have won. These are the cars that you could have bought if you'd been quicker and subscribed and had notifications. So there's a little lesson for you all. Let us start with this, the first car of video 3, beautiful 1998 BMW Z3M Roadster. This car is a friend of mine's car. It belongs to a very good mate of mine. He wanted one of these for a long time and he looked at loads to end up with this one. And as you can see, he did very well. He got the manual, he got the best colour, the best interior, it's got the deflector, it's got the factory hardtop, and it's only done 60,000 miles. The market for these is very, very exciting at the moment. People are realising what a wonderful little thing these are. And everybody wants the Z3M. They want the wide body, the sexy wheels, the big, fast, powerful engine. That's not going to be a huge amount of money. I don't think that can sustain. These are 16 to 20 in this beautiful condition in that colour. With the hardtop, don't forget as well, that's worth quite a lot of money on its own. So that would be one for me to buy and bid on if I were you. Little bit less money this one. This is a 1999 very rare colour. So we've got two very desirable cars in two very rare colours. That's beautiful. You hardly ever see them in white. Hardly anybody ordered them in white. This is 94,000 miles, this one. Again, factory hardtop in the colour. Private plate stays with it. Just a super clean car. Both of these are in exceptional condition. Just which colour do you prefer? I think the silver is the one for me, but the white with the blue and the black is very, very nice as well. Slightly higher mileage, mega history, also with hardtop. These I think will become very, very collectible going forward because they're so much fun. And look at the provenance of what they are, which is basically a factory wide body M engine car. Look at the prices of other factory wide body M engine cars and you can see where it's all going, can't you? Right, Mercedes 230e. Such a beautiful old bus, these. We've got a lot of Mercs in. The Merc market is wonderful because they are very pretty cars, very usable cars, very safe, very strong, relatively cheap to maintain. If you've got one like this, this is a low mileage. It's 21,000 miles from new, and that is warranted and correct. 21,000 miles from new, original spec, recently serviced in 2022, unused over mats. It's been steam cleaned and wax sold underneath. It's probably, we think, the nicest one we've ever seen. And we've had a lot of people here who have worked with Mercedes. Come and have a look inside. That is what an unmolested, unrestored, perfect 21,000 mile interior looks like. Isn't it gorgeous? So if you're thinking, what can I drive to work in? What car should I buy? Should I nip and get a lease? Should I sign my life away for £300 a month? Why not finance this instead? £9,000 to £11,000 that's going to go through for on the day. It is pretty much flawless. And you could drive that pretty much up until doomsday, basically. That car will last long after we're all gone and it's just a nuclear wasteland and cockroaches. That will still be here. And this one will be too. 1996 E220 Coupe in the best colour, I think we can say that. 77,000 miles. It's an automatic. It's got 2 owners. It's got aircon, electric sunroof, auto box, and sensible mileage, lovely colour, really nice spec. It's got the smaller monoblock wheels on as well. 90s colour palettes to me I think were some of the nicest stuff that all the manufacturers did. This is one of the best. £6,000 to £8,000 you could buy this for and take this home. And the thing about these C124s is the difference between the really, really nice ones and the really, really rubbish ones isn't all that much, so you might as well get a really nice one. And this one, say you bought it for £8,000 and it'd be worth every penny of that. One of the most usable cars ever. The 124s are a lovely evolution from the 123, funnily enough. But the coupes are by far the most special. The cabriolet versions of these could be 30 grand. And the coupe I think is just as stylish. 6 to 8. Bag yourself a bargain Benz. Right, Rover 3.5 litre. I don't need to tell you how wonderful these are. As you can see, there's a bit to do. It's missing its mirror cap on this side. But what you do get is automatic gearbox. It's the EFI 3.5 litre. So relatively reliable for a Rover. But just effortlessly stylish. I think these are the Birmingham Ferrari Daytona. We know that. Brilliant inside, it's got leather, auto box, it's got very cool steering wheel, it's got a sticky door handle, we've thrown that in for free. Let's have a look, so I can open this up for Elliot. That door's locked and will not unlock. There you go, there you go. She's absolutely fine. Have a look in there. So the year is 1984, you've done exceptionally well in your engineering company and you've gone out and treated yourself to an EFI Rover SD1. They're just epic. So it's got the Vitesse style alloy wheels on it. It's got the Vitesse spoilers. It isn't a Vitesse. It's also got some non-standard side repeaters on. Someone's been doing some styling here, look. I like this very much. And for £9,000 to £11,000, you're kind of getting all the Vitesse kudos without actually having a Vitesse. That's nice. It needs a few bits. The bumpers, I think, have been brush painted, possibly in the dark. But the car itself is very honest, very straight, and seemingly pretty rust-free. So there's a lot to love there, and a great basis for a project. P100. 1990 P100. These are normally absolutely rags. You might remember we sold one of Drew Pritchard's cars. That was literally sections of the boot missing, and that still went for quite a lot of money. This seems remarkably straight, remarkably rust-free, and it appears to have had a very, very easy life. Let's have a look. It's nice inside. Seats are immaculate. We've got covers on, that's probably why. So let's have a look underneath. Oh, they're quite tightly done. So seats have got covers on, so maybe underneath they may need a little bit of work. The dash is lovely, the door cards are quite good. Tiny bit of sagging on the passenger side. It's got its tonneau. It's got very nice rear arches. That's an unusually straight one. You could either just run that as it is and have a lot of fun, or you could make it perfect. And again, if you're a Ford collector, if you want something that's a bit unusual or a very cool business vehicle, I do like a P100. Tow bar electrics. It's got 2 owners from new and the tidy interior. 5 to 6 grand. I think that's a cheap P100. You see Snotters go for 3 grand, so have a nice one for 6. Makes sense to me. This is unusual for us, bit of fun, bit of a lifestyle vehicle. If you're looking to do the school run in something different, this is a Polaris Ranger RZR. What's amazing about this is it looks like an off-road fun vehicle, which is exactly what it is, but as the number plate tells you, it's road legal. So if you want to go and do some crazy stuff, where you're allowed to, on land with permission, have a bit of fun with this. It can go literally anywhere. They're an awful lot of fun. They're a bit Spartan inside because it's an off-road fun vehicle. You can put the dog, all your bits and pieces on the back. If you're looking for a modern day beach buggy, it's a bit of a giggle. That's 9 to 11 grand. Absolute silliness. Huge spec, 2 previous owners. It comes with this trailer as well. So even though you can drive it anywhere you want, it's completely road legal. If you don't want to drive it all the way there, which could be quite tiring, we're chucking the trailer in. That's all part of the package. 9 to 11 grand with probably 1,500, 2 grand's worth of trailer. Over to this. I do love a big transit van. There's a lot of fun to be had here. We all know that transit vans of this era, particularly Julie wide axle transit vans, there was the bull nose that went for, was it 61 grand? 61 grand, something crazy like that. This is a bit later. This is an 82, twin wheel, 11,000 miles, and as you can probably guess, was once a German fire engine, so it's left-hand drive, factory-fitted Pinto engine, original service book, matching set of Michelins. It's still got the fire service ladders and blue lights. Don't use those to do anything naughty. You will get told off. Got tow bar, twin wheels on the rear, and it's really clean. But then it's done 11,000 miles, of course it would be. Transit vans are becoming exceptionally desirable at the moment, and it's particularly the big chunky ones. Top of the market is 60 grand. You could buy this for 16 to 18. It's rust-free. It's got a lovely, little reliable, not the fastest, 2-litre Pinto. I like that very much. Just run it as it is, or do something fun with it. Again, talking of amazing promotional vehicles, stuff you can have a lot of fun with, you could put your brand on, that you can put through the books. When was the last time you saw one of these? This is a 1930 Ford Model AA truck, 22,000 miles. It's a manual. You want provenance, you want low ownership. First keeper for 80 years. It's been converted to indicators to make it a bit more usable. It was used, I love this fact, it was used every year for the apple harvest in New York State. So this is a working truck that has worked for its living and used to carry apples in the back. The left-hand drive, of course. It actually features in the film Dumbo, so this has screen creds as well. So you'll have seen this car in the Disney film Dumbo. And it's got the wooden bed and a 12-volt battery, so it's been uprated. Just really fun. Like I say, if you're trying to build a promotional vehicle, you want something unique for your collection, I can't think of anything better because it won't cost a huge amount of money. Wherever you park this, it's going to be an advert for your business and quite a usable and drivable truck with screen credentials as well. So I like that very much. This one is ours, so we are a little bit biased with this one. This is our own Renault K27 van. What's interesting about it is it's a right-hand drive vehicle. It's done 4,900, obviously it's gone around the clock, I'd imagine. Genuine right-hand drive, all original panels. We overuse the word patina in this game. We talk about it a lot. Come and have a look at this patina. This is, you could not, if you've got a team of experts to fake the perfect patina, you would never beat this. You would never match the way that the roof, the paint and everything is oxidized. It's so perfect. Complete original vehicle. It runs, it drives, it starts, it stops. It's got 12-volt conversion as well, and it's got all of its original French documents. I overuse the word cool, I know that, but come on, look at this. Whatever your business is, that's why we bought this vehicle, because if you stick a nice bit of period sign writing on the side, it stops traffic for 12 to 14 grand. You have to spend a lot of money on an advert or a van to equal that. And that does start, stop and drive. It's quite a fun thing. It's not that difficult to drive either, actually, that one. Meanwhile, the 1948 Ford Thames pickup. Now this one, also a working vehicle. This used to deliver fruit in Guernsey. We are now the Northwest top outlet for ex-fruit picking vehicles. This one, Nova registered, which is great. Drop side wooden low deck, driver's mate seat, Dunlop tyres, an opening windscreen, or air conditioning as they used to call it in the old days. And just lovely condition. Again, a wonderful thing to either just enjoy. There's a lot of period commercial shows which are becoming quite popular now, or use this as the advert for your business. But what wonderful condition. This is very, very old paint, you can see. Perfectly worn in and patinated. Fantastic careworn condition, really presentable and tidy, but not immaculate and perfect. So you wouldn't be afraid to use it. And don't be afraid to work with it, because these are surprisingly capable. If you're just pottering around in low speed figures, I think it's quite a usable little thing. Love a lightweight, the old military Land Rovers. These are the bargain of the old Land Rover world, because not everybody loves the look. I personally think it's the coolest of all the Land Rovers. It is a 1976 88 series, 3 lightweight, complete with all its radio struts and antennas, 2 former keepers. It's got all of its military paraphernalia on it as well. It's been with the current owner for 14 years. Again, one of the best we've ever driven. We try and drive every single vehicle we can here. The guys have driven this. It's lovely, well, as lovely as an 88 is. Yeah, it's not like Rolls-Royce quality ride or anything like that, but if you're used to a Land Rover, this one drives fantastically. But the price for this, with all of this lovely period correct stuff from the 70s and great inside, look. Have a look at that now. It's got its tilt and bows as well. Dashboard's in wonderful condition. It's got canvas hood, army issue pickaxe, shade map reading light, abrasive cherry cans, and an array of spares. And for that you would pay the princely sum of £8,500 to £9,500. So I don't think that's a huge amount of money for what is an absolutely wonderful vehicle that, if you're like me and your mental age is 9, it's perfect, absolutely perfect. Now moving on to the slightly classier end of the Land Rover scale. This is a 2011 Defender 90 County. I think we all know where this market is. This market's in a very silly place, basically, the Land Rover market. They are just fetching £11 million for nice vehicles because of all the converters and the late model stuff that's been messed with and tuned. You can now pay small house money for a nice Land Rover. With something like this, with 2 former keepers, 90,000 miles, and it's manual. It's got the boost alloys, side steps, the mud flaps. It's had engine work, which I'll let you know what that is. Cylinder head, head gasket, timing chain and tensioners in March, so 2 months ago. £2,200 has been spent, 9 stamps in the service books. It's been serviced every 10,000 miles on a lovely set of new Continentals. This has been loved. Now we know that the top of the market is silly. You could buy this for 17 to 19. And to me, that just seems like exceptional value. Get these before they also go silly, and particularly in such a nice colour. Old money vehicle, I absolutely love it. And again, Defender 110 double cab. These are just a nice looking vehicle. So you've got your commercial cred, you've got a decent amount of room in the back, you've got room for the kids or the dog with 4 doors. This one has done 118,000, it's a manual with 1 former keeper. It's got the sawtooth wheels, which I love as well. It's got the original dealer plates, some decent Yokohamas on it. In fact, it had a refresh in 2023 with new tyres, new rear canopy. Someone has just spent £3,500 grand in order to sell this car. I love owners and vendors like that. People just go through, look, they've refreshed the interior, they've put brand new tyres on it, they've made it really nice just to sell it. That's people that care. The kind of people we like. You could buy that for somewhere between 20 and 22 grand, which again, I think, not a small amount of money, but for what it is and where the market is going, fantastic value. Right, more Land Rovers. Another 88. This is, to me, how a Land Rover should look. This is the perfect colour, the perfect amount of very light patination and paint wear and tear. Lovely matte bonnet. Please, if you're buying this, don't touch it. Don't do anything to it. It looks perfect. It's even got the radiator blanket on the front. This is a 1972. Of course, it's everything exempt, done 78,000 miles, runs and drives. It's a petrol, it's all there. The crossmember's good. It's got a bench seat in the back as well. It will need a bit of love, don't get me wrong. You're going to have to go through and recommission this and give it a tidy. Just because it is everything exempt, I would go through and make sure it's to a very high MOT standard. But then if you look at the way it sits in all of this beautiful aging, it's perfect. You drove this, you might as well say to everyone, I have a large country estate, and this is what I use to go to the paper shop on a Sunday. Fabulous vehicle, no reserve. Grab yourself a bargain. You're going to have to spend some money, don't get me wrong, but you'll be so happy when you do. So happy when you do. Another no reserve wonder is this. A few little dents in the bonnet. I think something's fallen on here, or it's been caught in a hailstorm. The bonnet has a few dents to do. It's a project, this one. Got a little bit of bodywork to do. Very nice interior. 1989 Vauxhall Nova 1.2 Merit, which if you remember your Vauxhalls, so this is the full cooking spec towards the bottom of the Vauxhall range. But no less lovely as a result. 45,000 miles, which is correct. Loads of new parts fitted. The original colour. There are just none left. So this body, which is very rust-free, sadly isn't very dent-free. There's a couple of dents in the roof, a few dents in the bonnet. Probably the easiest thing to do there is to either get your local dent man on that. He'd have a field day, your local dent man, on this car. What's it like on the sides? Yeah, a few in the side as well. A few dents in what is otherwise a very, very nice car. Super straight, no reserve. Find me another, particularly no reserve. I love that. And all of these Novas are becoming worth a huge amount of money, but they're just actually quite nice to drive. That's the main thing. So you have that, live with it scruffy, and just slowly do it up, and have a very nice car at the end. Volkswagen Scirocco, where are we going? Here we go. 1989 Scirocco 1.8 GT. They only sold the 1.8 for 12 months, so that's an unusual thing to find. Great colour, factory roof. Got the 5 former keepers. It's just had a cam belt change. It's got Cowies dealer plates, which is a dealership near to me. It's just had a recent service. And it's level. What can I tell you about the bodywork? It's not bad at all. A few little rust blebs have been touched in. Very, very straight. The kit's fitting beautifully. As I say, you just don't find many 1.8 GTs. Most of them are 1.6. 4.5 grand to 5.5 grand would buy you this car. And I think you'd be very, very chuffed to take that home. Isn't it interesting? Scirocco's are suddenly coming out of the woodwork. They're suddenly very desirable, and people that used to buy Golfs, and Golfs are now very, very expensive, are suddenly realising the Scirocco is probably a prettier car for a lot less money. Talking about nice looking cars for not a lot of money. If you're feeling brave, a CL600 is probably one of the nicest cars you'll ever buy. It's certainly one of the nicest cars you'll ever drive, that's for sure. These were house money when they were new. 68,000 miles on this, a 2002 CL600. So as the name suggests, that's a big engine, that's a 6 litre. Great service history, huge specification, just been MOT'd before it's come into the sale, which it flew through. And in here, think of a gadget, think of an upgrade, think of an extra, it's in here. Basically, these cars had everything as standard. And the private plate that's on it, the 600 plate, that comes with it. What would you pay for something like this today? I don't know, 9 to 11 grand maybe? And while it works, that's the only caveat I'd say on these. They are a bargain, an absolute bargain. You're buying so much technology, so ahead of its time was this car. When they work, they're stunning, utterly stunning, and you will not want another car. They just get a little bit scary if things go wrong. But if you know that, and this has got a fabulous history, it's a wonderful way to travel. 9 to 11 grand would buy you that car. On to another Z3. So this is a Z3 rather than a Z3M. So it's got the straight 6, it's had a recent service and 113,000 miles and a February 2024 MOT, so it's not long been MOT'd. It was driven here, we've driven it, it drives beautifully. It's got the oxblood leather, which is very, very nice, and it's a manual. And it flew through its last MOT. Now we've got the Z3Ms, they're quite a lot of money. They're going to be the thick end of 20 grand if you want to take one of those home. This one, which, you know, from 10 yards in the dark, looks exactly the same. Obviously a little bit less fast. No reserve. So have some fun with that. Just give us a cheeky bid. It's on sale from the first bid and you can tell us how much you think it's worth. Now onto this, a Dolomite. Mark, our lovely detailer's having a go at the bonnet. The bonnet's a little bit flat on this, but we're having a polish of that and it seems to be coming up beautifully. It's old cellulose paint. And looking around this, I would wager a lot of this paint is original. I think it's had some paint on the roof. But these wings and these stripes look like they've been there a long, long time. This is a 79 Dolomite. If you can't afford a Sprint, and they are getting very expensive now. This is the next best thing. This is an 1850 HL. It's showing 21,000 miles from new, 21,000 miles. And we think, looking around at the seats, underneath, the wear and tear or lack of, I think that's genuine, you know. Everything supports it. All the paperwork we've got supports it. The MOT support it. That's a 21,000 mile car. 3 former keepers, drive stored for 20 years, hence the condition and the mileage. It drives, starts and stops. It does not have an MOT. You are going to need to go through this car and slowly recommission it. You could live with the bodywork. I think the bodywork's really quite nice. We're having a little play with the paintwork and it's coming out beautifully. It will never be immaculate because if you look, you've got little blebs, a few bits and pieces which you want to attend to and arrest, but give it some love, have some fun with it, and unlike a Dolomite Sprint, which is a huge amount of money, you could buy that with that scant mileage for 4 to 5 grand. I think that's a great car. This is interesting. This is an MGA. This was actually a coupe, believe it or not. This was a coupe that someone has very skillfully even, and perfectly turned into a Roadster. So this is a 1959 UK right-hand drive supplied example, manual, and somebody has put this coupe back with a tonneau. So no roof, just tonneau clips. So it's very much a high days and holidays dry day car. They've just spent £2,200 last year maintaining and servicing it. All steel as well. It's got the desirable knockoff wires and it's got Reader Steins on it. It's a great way of buying a Roadster for a lot less than a Roadster should cost. 13 to 15 grand for this. Huge amounts of fun. Go and look at what factory Roadsters are. It's a lot more than that. Very nice body. Look at the shut lines on the doors as well. They're fitting very, very well. I don't know who did the work, I'm afraid, but whoever did it did a great job. So a little bit of fun, bit of a custom, but very desirable. On to the Porsche 944 S2 over here. So this is owned by a Porsche Club director, this car. Very nice fitting tonneau on the roof as well. This is 1990 S2 cab, 173,000 miles, which is nothing on an old Porsche. Pretty nice on the body, couple of little bits to do. Probably a nice correction on the paint would make this look absolutely fabulous. In blue, it's got azure blue, this colour, which you don't see very often. Originally registered as a Porsche GB press car. Loads of invoices and documents on this. A cam belt and balance last year, so some money spent on it. And inner and outer sills and wings all recently done. So all the places where these go, all the money you know you're going to have to spend, already been done for you. And for that, you would spend, I don't know, 10 to 12 grand to take that one home. Very nice car, and summer's coming. Over to rare cars. We like rare cars. When was the last time you saw one of these? 1981 Beta Spider, Lancia, of course. So it's in good condition. In fact, the fact it's here at all is pretty amazing, isn't it? So this is a Lancia Beta Spider. You just don't see them. Any Beta in any condition in any model is unusual. The fact that it is a Spider with the 2 fold-down roofs. So obviously you've got your rear convertible roof, then you've got your top targa, so you can have them down in any combination of the above, just the rear part, just the targa part, whichever you like. I like this. Surprisingly good condition. It is surprisingly good. All the places this should have rotted away a long, long time ago, this hasn't. The interior is very, very nice and needs absolutely nothing, I have to say. The door card that's missing from here is in the boot. You've got a little bit to do on the seats, look, so you've got to recover that seat in the middle. I can't work out whether that's mouse damage or wear damage. So bank on a little bit of an inlay for the seat, a full recommission, a service. It's a project car. You're going to have to spend some money to get it right, but I do think it's worth it, simply because you'll turn up at a car show and no one else will have one. It's got a couple of blebs. It's just starting to go on the wings. I think the car is rare enough and unusual enough to really justify spending a few quid on it. You can buy it in the next sale for 5 to 6 grand and just amaze all in the wonderful 1981 brilliance that is the Beta Spider. Onto an SLC. Very, very hard, very unusual to find a nice one of these in great condition. South African car. So right-hand drive. It's come from a warm, dry climate. It's got everything as you'd want it to be. The bodywork is ever so nice. The interior is particularly nice on this. It's done 107,000 miles, which, as we know, on a Merc, it's running in. Great colour combination, original factory specification, presents really well. And I love the fact this is a right-hand drive car from South Africa that's nice. Because again, you can buy these cars that are UK based. We bought one, did one on the show. It was horrendous. The amount of money we had to spend to get the bodywork nice on this. And unlike an SL, the SLC is a bit rarer. There's a lot of model specific parts. For this car, and they didn't make that many, and there aren't that many left. So to find one that's already done that needs nothing, and this will be 10 to 12 grand, that's the way to do it. That's the clever way to buy one. Very pretty car in a very beautiful colour. A Velox PA. This is my favourite era of Vauxhall design. This is when they basically had a photocopier in the design studios in Luton, and they were photocopying all the American stuff at like 7/8 size basically. So 61 Velox PA. From the DVLA data that we've seen in talking to the club, there's 16 of these left, and it really is a proper little mini Americano, isn't it? Although it's still quite a big car, I have to say. 18,000 miles, UK home specified car. As I say, we think there's 16 left. Supplied with a detailed service booklet from 61 to 75. It's a 2.6, it's two-tone blue, and it's just amazing. You get the sort of Wurlitzer styling, don't you? Have a look at this. Come on, Elliot. Bench seat, of course, so you can go to the drive-in with your sweetheart. Column shift. It is just a baby American car, but just one that you can park in a British parking space and won't use quite the fuel that the V8s will. If you're into the whole rockabilly thing, Teddy Boys, all of that stuff, 1950s, if that's your lifestyle choice, and fair play to you, this is the car you want, because you can take all your mates, look, to the events. It's beautiful condition inside, and I think largely original as well. A lot of it really is, it's original stuff. But I just like anything that there's not many left of, and with 16 left on the road, that's something I'd like to travel in. 8,500 to 9,500 pounds, that one. Very lovely. A little MGA Coupe. We are determined to find this car at home because it's so nice. We've had this in a couple of sales now. It's quite a target market, this. It's a very, very nice MGA Coupe. So if you bought it as a road car, I really couldn't fault you because it's wonderful condition, older restoration with very nice paint, nicely patinated in. But what's special about this car, it was built for rally spec, basically. So this car has full competition papers. It's been in loads of events. It's a very well-known car. If you come around to the back, Elliot, you can see these are all the events it's successfully competed in. Several Monte Carlo rallies. It's a proper thing. If you want a car that is papered and ready to go, if you're thinking about doing historic rallying, which is a lot of fun, you will spend a huge amount of money getting the car ready. By the time you put your roll cage in, paid for your trip, restored the car, and you want to start with a decent car before you begin, you're going to spend 30, 40 grand. Somebody has done all the hard work for you to a very high standard, and this car will be 16 to 18, because you can buy it as a road car. If you want to just have a nice MGA road car, this will do the job. It's no less sophisticated or nice to drive, but if you want to then compete with it as well, as a bit of fun for weekends, and the fact it's papered and ready to go, there's your bargain, 16 to 18. Now, I am a Subaru nutcase, so this car is really calling to me. This is a very, very nice example of a very expensive car to build. This is a Mattia, made by Adrenaline Motorsport. So underneath this rather shapely body, believe it or not, is all bits of very high performance Subaru Impreza. So they take all of the motive parts, a four-wheel drive, flat four engine, loads of power, and then build it into an incredible competition machine. This one again, like the little MG, this is our competition corner we've created over here. This has got an MSA competition logbook. So this is basically a hill climb car. It isn't, I don't believe, road registered at the moment. So this is eligible for lots of events, lots of hill climbs, sprints, circuit racing, but not road registered. The great thing about these are, they are IVA compliant, so with very little work, you could put this on the road. You could get this through an IVA, and you would have an amazing road car that does obscene performance. Because don't forget the car that this was built on, it was built on an RA, which is a 245 horsepower car. It's got tuning mods as well, so you're probably talking about 280 horsepower and four-wheel drive in a car that weighs under a ton. That's going to be obscenely fast. If you want to go competing, if you want to have a bit of fun, as I say, without very much work at all, this was designed to be a road legal motor car. This particular one hasn't gone through the process. It's not that difficult to do it, and there'll be loads of people on the Mattia forum that will help you. That car could be road legal very easily, and what a thing. Go out supercar scaring with that very, very easily. This is very nice, particularly if you're a fan of Dallas. 1982 Mercedes-Benz 280 SL, so it's the smaller engine, economical, easy to live with, easy to maintain, 118,000 miles, fantastic colour combination. It's got the factory hardtop as well. The private plate stays with it. We've just had a lovely customer having a look, so we just got the roof up to have a look at that. Always put the roof up on an SL. We always do to make sure. And what's nice about this one, you can see it's been down for a lot of its life, but the roof's in lovely condition, and we've got the hardtop. And it's a great car. You can spend a lot of money on a nice SL. This needs a couple of tiny bits. The roof's lovely, the hardtop's lovely. Just a couple of little blebs at the corner of the door, I'd adjust the door a bit better, but the interior doesn't really need anything at all. And bearing in mind you can spend 35 or 40 grand on one of these, this one's 10 to 12. You can maybe spend a couple of grand as you go along, making it a little bit nicer. But in the meantime, my advice for this, as I said to the gentleman that just looked at it, buy it today, drive it through the summer, have some fun with it, and then when the winter comes and you take it off the road, just sort the tiny jobs out. 10 to 12. Very, very nice. XK8s, we love them. We've got loads of them. We do think they're an absolute rising classic superstar of the future. This is a 2001 4-litre convertible in probably the best colour combination. So many of the press cars and demo cars were ordered in this colourway because it looks so good. It's got the 20-inch wheels. It's got an immaculate beige interior. 55,000 miles from new. It's got 4 former keepers. As I say, it's got the Detroits on. These are the wheels that everybody wants. BBS made these wheels. They're genuine split rims. They're 20-inch. They're worth a huge amount of money on their own. And the roof works beautifully. Everything works beautifully. And for all of this style, what would you pay? 7 to 9 grand, we've estimated that at. And I think with summer coming, I think we're going to have a lot of great convertible sales in this next sale because it's the right weather. And you know what they say? When the roof comes down, the price goes up. Next, we have another wonderful British soft top. 1972 Triumph TR6 UK right-hand drive home market car. So this has done 101,000 miles, obviously been extensively rebuilt and restored. It's been with the current owner for 15 years, an amazing history file that goes all the way back to 1984. It's had loads of underbody welding and underseal as well. Got a new hood frame and hood cover. It's got the lovely wires with knockoffs as well, and 2 sets of keys. Again, you can spend a fortune on these. You can spend easily 30, 40 grand on a mint car. This is exceptionally tidy but not perfect. Tiny little bits of micro blistering on the paint, a few slight imperfections on the seat. So a tidy and lovely car that you can nurture and improve, but because it needs a tiny bit of work, 12 to 14 grand instead of 30, 40 like the top of the market is. But no less fun, and that noise and Michelotti styling, everything you'd want in a classic British sports car for a sensible amount of money. Moving on to this, if you prefer a German sports car, have you noticed how many soft tops we've got in this sale? It's almost like our consignment team knew that the hot weather's coming. Clever, aren't they? 2006 Audi TT turbo convertible, outstanding condition with an enormous 34,000 miles. So we do like a low mileage TT. We're becoming the outlet for them. Look at the condition of this. Elliot's going to do a little tour. The bodywork, in reality, my friends, is as good as it looks on the camera. It's perfect. It's had the rear bumper painted. There's a tiny colour difference there. They've painted that panel. I imagine it's had a little scuff. But that's about it. That's the only thing I can crib it on. Bodywork is immaculate, actually. Interior is immaculate. This is almost like buying a brand new TT. Obviously, it's not the most exotic of specifications. It's fabric seats, which actually, on a convertible, is no bad thing. If you've ever had a leather car, you've parked it in the sunshine all day, and you come and sit in it, it'll burn your legs like the 1970s. Great car, not a huge amount of money. £5,000 to £6,000 for a 34,000 mile car with a wonderful history and great provenance that bodily is, apart from that tiny discoloration, almost perfect, and the roof is like new, so that's a great car. MGB Roadsters, we love them. It's just, they're just so easy to live with. MGB Roadster, this is a great car because British racing green, mountain wheel, sits right, rubber bumper cars, you either love them or you hate them. I personally love them. I think they're just great value for what they are. They're huge fun to drive. Owning an MG is easier than owning any new car you care to mention because they're so fixable. You can go and get parts, so many great places for parts, so many great owners clubs. You can buy them for buttons. This is a UK right-hand drive supply car. It's got the overdrive on the gear lever as well. Really good history file with MOTs going back to 1991. It's got row styles on it. It's got luggage rack on it. It's by no means immaculate, my friends. There's a little bit of tidying up to do. But the honest answer is, would you care? Would you not just go out and drive it and have some fun in it? And that's what MGBs are. MGBs are the most usable, drivable, and exceptionally great handling car. Have a look on YouTube. There's a brilliant video of Dickie Meaden absolutely thraping an MGB, and he will show you what a great handling package these are. Even as a roadster, they're surprisingly good. And also the amazing thing about these is the legroom in an MGB, even for 6'4", is exemplary. Even by modern standards, these have a huge amount of room inside. £4,000 to £5,000 gets you driving around in style for the summer. Very, very cool, that. A little bit of work to do, but all the better for it. So this is an SLK Compressor. That one. 2005, there you go, going the wrong way, too many cars. 2005 Mercedes-Benz SLK Compressor. 36,000 miles from new, this one. 3 former keepers. What can I tell you? Fully operational roof. Just had its AMG wheels refurbed and looking all the better for it as well. Very specified. It's got the heated scarf of its own that blows the hot air on your neck. If you've never tried this, it's quite a cheap thrill. Keeps you very, very warm. Great book pack. An exceptional value. These little Mercs aren't worth massive amounts of money yet, but they are a really nice to drive and a lot of fun to own. £5,000 to £6,000 would buy you that. I say 36,000 miles. We've got a lot of very nice, very low mileage, very well maintained cars. Onto this little wonderful oddity. Got a huge amount of time for these. Lotus Elan SE Turbo. Aren't they cool? This of course upset the purists when this car came out, because it's a front wheel drive Lotus. All the purists had a bit of a meltdown, but actually they're a very drivable, very usable car. This one's done 99,000 miles, which tells you how much fun they are to drive. One Lotus enthusiast owner from new. One owner from new, ladies and gentlemen, which is why it's been very well maintained and looked after. 16 stamps in the book, original specification, and the cam belt and water pump were changed at 97,000 miles, and the car has now done 99,000 miles. So you don't really have an awful lot to do with this. They're good fun, these. As I say, as a front wheel drive car, once you get used to the fact it drives a little differently from every other Lotus, if you just discount that and just treat it for what it is, it's fun. Very, very well styled, I think. It looks like a bit of a wide, lower Esprit, like the Peter Stevens Esprit styling has translated beautifully into this. You don't see many of them. Very unusual car, £8,000 to £9,000. I say if you haven't driven one, just ridiculous amounts of fun. Onto the SL500 with pano roof, if you notice, one of the prettiest options you can get. 102,000 miles on this 2003 model. Fully operational pano roof, that all works, it's beautiful. AMG wheels, it was driven here, we've driven it. It's just had a power steering pump, a new suspension, and a check a few years ago for the sum of £3,500. Loads of invoices, loads of paperwork, really lovely, wonderful thing. I love the SL. I think it's a great looking car. I think it's got that proportion, it's got the line. They have that whiff, don't they, of big money Mercedes, but they're not. They're just not. This car will be £6,000 to £7,000 with its 102,000 miles on. So much flash, particularly with the pano roof. It's such a great option for not much cash. Love that to bits. On to, I think, the potential bargain of the sale. Have a look in your classic car price guides at Porsche 911 prices, the one that everyone's talking about. And I would say this because I'm a little bit biased, I have one, is the 997. The reason everyone's getting so excited about the 997, because it's the water-cooled car, of course. Not everybody likes the front of the 996. The 997 sorted that with a much prettier light. They're also considered to be aesthetically one of the nicest proportioned shapes of all the 911s, and perhaps the prettiest, dare I say, water-cooled 911 of all of them. This one's great because it's got price range written all over it. Very nice condition, very well looked after. Private plate comes with it, good factory spec, presents and drives very well. It's not immaculate, but it's very, very tidy. And it's got a good mileage. It's 135,000 mile Tiptronic with good history. So you're not going to pay a huge amount of money for this. I think 16 to 18 you're going to pay for this, and you'll be driving around in a Porsche 997. It's Carrera, just these things go forever. Really lovely way to get yourself into a Porsche for not a massive amount of cash. Great specification for the money that it is. Another Mercedes, 190 now, 2 litre. We have a lot of gold Mercedes. It's a very attractive colour combination. We have them all here at Manor Park Classics. Again, very lovely inside. This one's done 102,000, original specification. They just wear so well, Mercedes, don't they? They could have 100,000 on, they could have 2,000 miles on. They don't look any different. Another factory sunroof car, supplied by B&K Thomas, my local dealership in Nottingham. Who knows? I've maybe even seen this driving around Nottingham in its heyday. All Mercedes matte, spare wheel, so straight and level on the bodywork. It's had a little bit of paint on that arch, I'd say, which is really not badly done at all. It's got a tow bar, but it doesn't seem to be sagging, so I don't know what it's towed, but it obviously didn't do it much harm. No reserve, so many wonderful no reserve bargain cars. If you're just looking for a great car to get you through the summer or this year, it's not going to cost you a lot to buy. We've got, I think, about 20 great no reserve cars, really usable, sensible, practical classics you can have a lot of fun with, that you might come and buy for a few grand, that you'll keep forever, will hold their money, and you'll have undying respect from all your classic car peers, because you cannot beat an old Mercedes for everyday drivability. Something British and bank managery. How about a 1963 Rover P4? This is a project car, let me stress that from the beginning. It's very solid, it's very complete, it's all there, and the restoration has been started, but you are going to have to finish it. if I'm being totally honest with you. You are going to have to spend some money on this. Loads of original parts, and the chrome is all pretty decent, and that's the most important thing. It's very complete. It's got original radio, it's got seat belts, which is never a bad thing. If you look inside, look, let's be honest. Here it is, look. It's needing some love. You are going to have to spend some money and some time on that to get it right. But for that reason, it is no reserve. So it is on sale from the first bid, and you tell us what you think it's worth. Moving on to, here you go, look, another car that needs a bit of love. 1974 TR6. It's honest, it's all there. Part completed project from a deceased estate, but if you look, all the panels are perfect. In fact, I would wager that's new old stock. That looks like new panels to me, or certainly very well restored panels that have been put on and not painted. They look like new wings. That's interesting. That's definitely a new door look. Yeah, this is very, very good on the body. So all the hard work's been done. If you are a bodywork person that can paint, here are a perfect set of panels on a very nice chassis for you to finish and complete and maybe make a 30 grand car out of. Part completed project from a deceased estate, photographs and memory stick showing works done, large file of invoices, and it comes on this trailer. So if you're thinking, how on earth do I get this home? We'll chuck in the trailer. Makes it even easier for you. So that's an easy one. Lots of documentation. If you are thinking of buying this and you're wondering what you get yourself in for, we've got a big file of pictures. We've got them online, but if you want to come and see, I would recommend before the sale starts, do come and pile through those. If you want to know what you're buying, what's been done and what's needed to do, we have all that information for you. On to the XR3i, do love it. RS Turbo body kit. If you want to get an RS Turbo look, you haven't quite got the budget, this is a great way to do it. So it's done 23,000 miles, loads of history, factory roof. It's got the full RS Turbo kit on, including the 6-spoke wheels, 5.5 to 6.5 grand. You're not going to get an RS Turbo, not a genuine one for that kind of money. There's a tiny bit to do. A few blebs around the roof, a few little imperfections on the A-pillar there. You'd probably want to spend, I don't know, a grand or so on paint, just tidying it up and making it really nice. If you want to go a couple of grand on paint, there's a slight bit of discoloration on the sills, but it's a lovely level car, and it looks like you've got an RS for XR money, and low XR money as well. And I think that, to me, this was peak Mark IV Escort, this look with the bonnet vents and that deep bumper and those wheels, the prettiest of all of them to my mind. 1969 Triumph Vitesse. Of course, Vitesse is like a Herald, but you get the much sexier quad lamps. You obviously get the much bigger engine as well. This one's done 41,000 miles. Now, these are actually quite a quick car, these. If you've never driven a Vitesse, they shovel. They really do go quite well. 3 owners, it's had a recent restoration, comprehensive photographic history. It's also had a new roof. It's got a very nice fitting tonneau. It's got some seats which are out of a later car. That might not be your cup of tea. They look very comfortable, but it really wouldn't be a big job to put something more period in. A nice set of Cobra buckets or something in there, I think would make that incredibly cool. And not a lot of money, £6,000 to £7,000 for a genuine Vitesse with all the right bits and very nice body. I just think all this Michelotti Triumph stuff is so nice. It's the really peak area of Triumph for me. And again, a very usable car. We did on our show Turbo Pickers years ago, an old Herald, and they're just such fun to drive, and Heralds don't have any power, whereas the Vitesse, a bit of a fly machine, makes a great noise, looks very groovy, and flies along. I like that a lot. Another price range MGB, just also fitted, great upgrade on these, and makes them really nice to drive. This one has electronic power steering. So this is a 20,000 mile, I guess that's probably a reset clock after a significant restoration. 19.7 MGB, 20,000 miles, UK right-hand drive home market car. Power steering on these costs 1,800 quid if you have it done properly, which this one has. New hood frame, hood cover and tonneau. Driven here, and we've driven it, it's lovely. It had a big resto in the 1990s, which I would imagine is when the clock got reset. So it's done 20,000 miles since the 1990s. Loads of invoices, MOTs and V5s. I was here with David Sculthorpe, who is the boss of MGOC Spares. He was walking the sale room with me earlier today. I says, what do you think of that car, David? And he reckons it's been done to a very high standard because of the seat upholstery. It's been done beautifully, and also all the shut lines. You can always tell an MG resto by the quality of the shut lines, particularly on the doors on a Roadster. It's very hard to get that right. So whoever's done that has done a very nice job. And I do like older restorations. I like cars that have sat in their paint for a long time, because if there's a problem, it will have come through. This car has sat in this paint since the 90s, and although you're getting just the tiniest bit, I'm talking micro blisters on some of the seams, it's beautiful. It really is a nice car, and I think you could drive that and enjoy that for a long time. On to the SL. Let's see how the Germans did it. So 85 SL, again that beautiful colour with probably the best interior spec. 116,000 auto, hard and soft tops of course as well. It's just had a full service, full inspection, health check, rear brake calipers, all been sorted, really nice interior. If that steering wheel is not your bag, it will drive very well with that. We've got the original steering wheel as well. We've driven it, it's got a lovely spec, it's got electric windows, headlight wash wipe, just that colour as well. For me, the only thing I'd do to this is take the chrome arches off. I think you'd have a perfect little car there. Again, real nice price range stuff, this 10 to 12, that car. Not a huge amount of money for one of the most desirable Mercs. And that is our lot. So guys, if you haven't done so already, do register to bid. Go onto manorparkclassics.com. Do come and see us on the day. We've got 3 more days of viewings before the sale starts. You can also view in the morning of the sale. But most importantly, come and see us. If you're anywhere in the UK, come to the sale, be here in the room. It's so much fun. We'll make you a cup of tea and you might buy something that you like. But it's all happening on the website. Register, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I hope to see you on the 22nd.